Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Walmsley, and I'm the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. I'm back literally a few hours ago from a holiday in Turkey, and what a wonderful way to start my working week by meeting Sergio. Sergio is one of our full members. We're entirely member funded, so it's great that I have the opportunity to introduce you to Sergio. Sergio is currently in Berlin at a rather interesting conference, but I'm going to give Sergio a chance to say hello to you all and tell you a little bit about the work that he's doing, and then we're going to have some fun. I'm going to create Sergio's fantasy cultural year from the answers to 10 easy questions. So, Sergio, please say hi and introduce yourself to our members.
Hi everyone, I'm Sergio Lopez. I'm basically classical composer and pianist, and we've done also training in music for film. My career spans from music teaching for autistic children, piano teaching, but also composition for silent films. Quite unusual. I did a score for Einstein and Deleu at the Tate Modern and Berlinale, and I'm very fascinated about the convergence of two languages. In the last 10 years, I've been developing more work related to music and health, not as a music therapist, but as a composer and community musician. And I've developed a practice that uses the power of the humming voice, the vibration, something very ancestral. So I started as a hobby, really coming back to where I'm coming from, which is the Canary Islands. I used to live in London. And every holiday I used to practice in caves and natural spaces, this practice. And it actually went on and into more depth, and that's my full-time job at the moment. So it's called Polyhum, this practice, poly for polyphonic, and hum for humming. And the intention is how to actually embed, because when you talk about composition, it seems like a very difficult thing to do, or people don't think they're creative enough to create their own music. So part of my job is allowing anyone to tap into their own creativity, but also I don't do interventions from a therapeutic point of view, but music per se and creating music is therapeutic. So the idea of tapping into creativity and also connecting to emotions. So part of my work is how to allow people to connect with empathic beings. We're in a society that's divided or very categorized. You are doing one thing or the other. I'm the kind of guy who is transversal. I had cancer diagnosed 4 years ago. I changed completely the name of a play because I focus on myself. So I started using my own techniques as part of my own recovery. And that was 5 years ago. And I decided to move back to Gran Canaria just for my own healing and coming back home. That was 4 years ago. I carried on doing the work with Polyhum, and I'm happy to say that after many efforts and trials, I'm now working on a project that has been funded with EU funding for culture entrepreneur, the Next Generation Funds, managed by the local Canary Island government. And so they want artists to be sustainable with cultural enterprises that are transversal with social impact or environmental impact. In my case, as a patient or a former patient of cancer, I realized there's a need to tap into the emotional well-being and mental health. And that's what the project is about. It's called Polyhum Canarias because I'm in Canary Islands, and is allowing a community of people affected by cancer directly or indirectly. It could be a patient or a family member who is overloaded, but sometimes responsibility of caring, as well as a survivor. People don't think that once you overcome cancer, that the life is really magnificent, and it doesn't. There's a consequence of therapies affect your mental health. And the thing is, people keep it quiet, and the health system doesn't actually work systematically to help. So this is a totally innovative approach to culture and health. I'm at the last stage of a project. There's 3 months to go, and I'm learning a lot through the process of making it happen.
Well, on behalf of everyone in our community, I should share my thanks because the work you're doing is so important. I have some personal experience. I'm a cancer survivor as well. I think you and I talked about this the last time we met, and I cannot prove it helped, but I created a playlist on YouTube called Joy, and
Mm.
it was pieces of music that touch me somehow or create some kind of emotion in me. And after my diagnosis, I was very fortunate. I was diagnosed very early. I didn't have to have chemo or radiotherapy. So I was very fortunate in that respect. But to maintain my positivity and my and to help my body do what it needed to do in those circumstances, I would listen every evening to that playlist and some of it. And some of the pieces of music in those circumstances when you're stressed potentially and you're worried, and your emotions are heightened, those wonderful pieces of music that I would listen to could make me well up with tears. And I consciously, it's a bit like, is it chi, the Asian kind of focusing of energy in your body? I would consciously point this emotion that this music was producing in me to that area. And I have no clinical proof that it made any difference, but it certainly made me feel better. And if you feel better in those circumstances, your body is perhaps more supportive and more responsive to the things that you're doing to help. So I think, yeah, there's absolutely something there where you focus the music has that incredible power, and if you're producing it as well, and if you're humming or overtones as we talked about before, and you're creating music, you don't even have to, there are no specific notes, there's no necessarily any kind of structural melody or harmony, but you're effectively communicating. There's a lovely saying, isn't there, when a baby sings before she talks, she
Mm.
dances before she walks, um, and she draws before she writes. So those things, and that um, it's not fully formed, but it's the process of that child expressing themselves. And I sort of tapped into that with that. So I think, I mean, it's great that you've got funding to do some of that work, because I certainly feel it helped me. I can't prove it physically, but it certainly helped me, and I was very fortunate. So others whose lives are changed because of the treatment that they have to go through can have that link from the power and the positivity of doing that exercise and that practice, and carry that through, and it will have huge benefits. So on behalf of all of us who've either suffered from cancer or have been unable to feel as though they're creative, I think it's great work that you're doing, and you should be doing it all over the world, and I'm sure that it would make a huge difference. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, what you said is very true. Where one of the things I ask people who approach me is like, give me your playlist. Sometimes actually it's music for joy and joy, because we don't recognize that we need the cathartic. Now, Aristotle, he knew it about catharsis. I mean, even a composer like John Dowland, who wrote the Lamenti for lute and singing, which Sting actually, he was very keen into revive it. He was very clever, because sometimes we are being told that you have to be, the narrative about cancer is either you're a hero, and that's also horrible because it puts you in a situation, but also that we need to deal with what we call negative emotions. So the music can actually release, if you're in the same vibration, let's say music that, if you're in a down, no, down, I'm a bit depressed, so you don't need to put music high, to make you feel good. Maybe what you need is to make a symphony with that music that is reflecting, is not aggressive, and that opens the whole idea of expressing yourself.
Yeah, certainly one of the pieces that I would listen to, uh, it was transformative in itself, in that the music I would become very emotional and potentially negatively emotional, if that makes sense. But the experience of going through that, there was a release during that. So by the end of the piece, I was in a completely different frame of mind. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, thanks. Wherever this appears, there'll be links to your, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. There'll be links to your the work that you're doing, so that
Sure.
people can explore more. So thanks for that. Now we're going
And now
to
the funny bits. Yeah.
now the funny bit. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to create your fantasy cultural year. I'll be there for some of it with you. It's just you can anything is possible because I have a magic wand and I can make anything possible in our arts and culture world. Now to start, I need to place you somewhere in the world. So I want to ask you, what is your favorite building?
Favorite building. Probably the Empire State Building. It reminds me of King Kong.
Right. I think most people will know that. I'm going to show everyone just in case we've got anyone who isn't familiar. Right. I'm going to share my screen and show everybody the Empire State Building. There we go.
Yes, and I haven't visited New York, so I thought, oh, well, after all this heavy work I'm doing, I think I'm planning to spend Christmas time in New York. I don't know how, but
There's some lovely images here of the Empire State Building. I love this one as well. This is a
yeah, I love that picture. Yes,
there's no safety harnesses there.
that's actually related to the cancer issue that we need to
Yeah.
overcome. Fear is the main.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to place you in New York City. You're at a pavement cafe in sight of the Empire State Building, looking up at this wonderful building. It's sunny, it's late afternoon, early evening. There are people coming to and fro, but you're sitting outside a cafe in the sunshine. And on the table next to you is a book. That book can be your favorite book. It could be a book that changed your life. It could be a book that has been with you all your life, or it could be a recent discovery. So, what book would you like have on your on the table?
The perfume.
Hmm?
I'm having a.
You see, informal. Say hi from me. So, what book would you like on the table next to you?
I would choose perfume.
The book Perfume.
Yes.
Who's it by? Um, let's find out. Is it the story of a murder?
Yes, exactly. Patrick Susskind, I think.
Let's see what we got. Book Perfume.
It's called The Story of a Murder, which
Yeah, it's
was an
now a
under
film. It's a film as well, isn't it?
as well. Yeah,
Patrick Suskind,
exactly. Yeah.
Perfume. Okay, we'll have to. The story of a murder tie-in edited by. Well, hang on. Yeah. Okay, so that's the book. You can have the book, Perfume. Now, on the other table next to you is a drink. It's 6 p.m. You can have whatever you like. What would you like as a drink next to you?
I think I have a red wine.
So the sun's shining, you've got a lovely glass of red wine, the book is there, Empire State Building. Now, you're feeling quite pleased with yourself, Sergio, because you've come from a meeting inside the Empire State Building with a wealthy New York family foundation. And they like to support financially research, and they've in the arts, and they've heard about the work that you do specifically at that convergence of music and well-being, physical well-being. So they want to hire you for a year. Okay, it's very well paid. It's first class all the way. You can have any support you need, and they'd like you to do some research into music and health in a different country. Okay, there's a TV deal in it, a book deal, and a lecture tour afterwards. So it's all your personal admin is sorted out. Your friends and family can come and visit if they wish. All you have to do is to decide which country you'd like to do this research in.
There's one country which is actually struggling a lot, but they're very musical, which is Cuba. My grandfather was Cuban, so they have quite social consciousness, in terms of education, but they're doing quite badly in terms of economics. and the effects of my mental health. So it will be great to take some of the research, which I found interesting in northern countries, from neuroscience and music, and doing a combination of applying in the mental health care, nationwide.
Fantastic. You're on the plane, okay? You're flying first class, so you turned left when you got on the plane. You're flying from Berlin to Cuba, to Havana, and while you're on the plane, the steward brings you a glass of red wine and a note from the family foundation, and they'd like to experiment on you a little bit as well. What they'd like you to do is to limit your musical intake to one very specific genre or type of music for 12 months. So if you had to choose one very specific type of music to listen to for 12 months to the exclusion of all else, what would you choose?
It will definitely be Bach, I think, Baroque music, and specifically Bach.
Okay, fantastic. I will give you my brother is a cellist, as you know. He lives in Berlin as well. He's recorded the cello suites, so
Yes.
we'll give you the Bach cello suites as well as part of that. Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, now you arrive in Havana. There is a group of young people who are students of music and neuroscience. They're holding your name on a card. They welcome you. They're going to take you under their wing for the first few days of your year. They whisk you off in a lovely old American car to an apartment in Havana, beautiful apartment that you have, and that's your base. They say to you, right, relax, unpack, and we're going to come and get you later. We're going to take you to a dance performance, and then we're going to take you out to dinner. Now, I have a magic wand here, so I can create any show for you. Okay, so it's got to be dance related. You can have any dancer, living or not, any dance group or any dance style. It doesn't have to be Cuban. So you can have whatever you want. So if you had to watch the perfect dance performance for a couple of hours, what would you like to watch?
I think a contemporary flamenco is something like Joaquin Cortez, like a more hybrid. It's like a mix of contemporary Cuban Latin with flamenco, having that.
That would be great. I'm going to add somebody who I love, Sarah Barras. Have you
Oh
seen
yeah,
Sarah Barras?
yeah.
Yeah. So we'll have a double header show, Joaquin Cortez and Sarah Barras. There's a video on YouTube of her in a studio with musicians, and it's kind of like a hybrid of modern jazz and her dancing, and the rhythms are just incredible. It's fantastic. Okay, excellent. Now they're taking you out to dinner now. Where would you like to go? What national cuisine? Again, it doesn't have to be Cuban. What's your favorite national cuisine and cooking?
Well, Mediterranean, but I could go for Indian food as well.
Yeah. Well, why don't we have a hybrid kind of fusion restaurant, which is
Yeah,
Mediterranean meets Indian. There we
yeah,
go.
that would be nice.
Fantastic. Now the next day in Havana is sport day, and your new friends are going to take you out to a sporting event. Many of us believe that some sports are performance art. We had breakdancing in the Olympics recently. So,
Yeah,
what sport would you like to watch or participate in for a couple of hours?
I will go for swimming, or yes,
Swimming, watching, or taking part?
uh, taking part actually. Yeah, having
Excellent. So, in
open actually
Havana,
open water swimming. No,
open water swimming, even
yeah,
better.
even
Fantastic.
better. The
Yeah,
weather allows it.
yeah, it will. Yeah, I've got a magic wand. I've just
Yes.
made the sunshine. It's great. Now, in Havana, there is a new art gallery, and it allows people to put on virtual reality headsets and step into the work of famous artists and walk around inside the painting, having a look at different things. Um, which famous artist's work would you like to step into and explore in that way?
I'm in between Gustav Klimt or Van Gogh.
We'll give you both. Klimt.
Yeah.
There is a story. I have a story about a Gustav Klimt. I used to do some work for a lady whose mother was a concert pianist,
Mm.
and the concert pianist's husband was a gentleman called Marcus Misner, who used to pay the rent for famous artists in return for their work.
Oh, wow.
And when he died in 1994, he donated his collection to the Tel Aviv Museum of Art, and
Mm.
they had to build a new wing to house it.
What, to house all them?
Um,
Oh my God.
and one of those was the blue Klimt.
Mm.
So
Oh,
so it's incredible. So
yeah.
he had Kandinsky's and Mondrian's as well. So
Oh,
excellent. So yes, Klimt, and you can walk around the Kiss and see them.
yeah.
Now I've flown out to meet you, and we're going to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday together. We're going to do on Monday, we're going to a pop or rock concert. On Tuesday, we're going to a theatre play. On Wednesday, we're going to a West End musical or a Broadway musical. And Thursday, we're going to the opera. And on Friday, we're going to the cinema. So you get to choose.
Wow.
I'm in your hands, right? So now with the pop or rock concert, I'd like you to think of somebody, a musician or a band who you didn't get to see but would have loved to.
Definitely Queen. I missed
Queen with Freddie.
with Freddie, yes.
Yeah, wonderful. Okay. Tuesday, what about a theatre play?
Mm, I think one of Oscar Wilde's plays. Uh, I don't know what's the name of the Oscar. The,
Ernest, The Importance of Being
Ernest, yeah, the
Honest.
importance of being earnest. Yeah.
That would be good. Or The Picture of Dorian Gray.
Oh, very great, yes.
Yeah. Again, we'll have a double header. We'll do both.
Okay.
And Wednesday, what about a West End or Broadway musical?
Mm, Phantom of the Opera. Mhm.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
Sarah Brightman.
Uh,
That's Phantom of the Opera. Excellent. What about an opera? Do you have a favorite opera?
it, it has to be Verdi, Falstaff.
Falstaff. Love it. Excellent. And a film.
I think Three Colors, Red, Blue.
Three Colors Red.
Yes.
Excellent. I haven't seen that, I don't think. So I must go and see that. Three colors red. Excellent. Now we're nearly there. Okay. So the next day I booked a restaurant in Havana overlooking Havana is on the coast, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. So it's a lovely rooftop restaurant overlooking the Caribbean Sea, and you can invite somebody to come and have lunch with you, anyone at all, living or not, for a leisurely 2-hour lunch. Who would you choose?
Definitely someone who I sent an email and she replied, which is the granddaughter of Gustav Mahler, Camilla Mahler. I,
Wow.
I talked to her because I saw an interview done by a young Asian guy, and the way she talked about two things, the understanding that Gustav Mahler understood, human pain and suffering, and also she didn't she had this burden of becoming part of a artistic family, but she was very honest about what is the reason of music in terms of peacemaking, and a very, very honest woman. She replied, but we never managed to meet up. I wrote back her again. I think she started her own writing and so on. So it's been like a spine I want to actually overcome. And probably Isabella Rossellini as well. I went to see her last show in the Canary Islands. It was quite clever, and she used Darwin because he's an ethologist looking about animal behavior. And she did a very fun show about human emotions and behavior in a very natural way. I put these two women together because they come from artistic families and which in my case is opposite. In my case, music wasn't actually encouraged to do, and I would love to have a meeting with both of them.
You can have
Camila
that.
and Isabella Rossellini.
So Isabella Rossellini and what was
Camilla Mahler, I think.
Camilla Mahler. What?
Oh,
Wow.
no, oh, no,
You know,
Marina Mahler, sorry, Marina.
Marina Mahler. You know, I told you about my Joy soundtrack. My
Yes.
my playlist. The last 10 minutes of Mahler's Second Symphony is on that.
Oh, wow, yes.
I was very fortunate. I played it. I was in the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra with Simon Rattle conducting for
Oh,
many.
wow, my God.
And that was on his last concert before he went to the Berlin Philharmonic. We played Mahler 2, and also when we opened Symphony Hall in Birmingham, that was Mahler 2 as well. And the last 10 minutes is just incredible.
Yeah.
The one I was fortunate I played on the recording as well. So
Oh, wow.
so when I was listening to Mahler,
You have the memory of actually making it.
I can.
Yes.
I was there, you know. Excellent.
I mean, part of the Polyhum, we are doing two things, which is hiking with live music, using the natural landscapes of Gran Canaria, but also interactive concert, participatory concert, where I take classical music and then shake it to allow the audience to sing along. And I commissioned a friend of mine who is a composer to rewrite the slow movement of the Fifth Symphony, the Adagietto, for saxophone trio, accordion, and piano, so we can move around. And using the final eight chords as a loop for people to meditate and connect.
Please share a link if you can.
Yeah.
I would love to see that. That's fantastic. There are two things that really touched me recently. The first was I can't remember. Yeah, in a couple of weeks ago, I was in Latvia for my brother's wedding. And you probably know every 5 years in Riga, they have a huge song festival.
Oh, yes.
16,000 in the choir, 45,000 in the audience, and the audience sings as well.
All singing together. This is
it's incredible. There's a fantastic video of it. My brother went to it a couple of years ago. They only do it every 5 years, and towards the end of the evening, they were singing what has become effectively the Latvian unofficial national anthem. Beautiful, beautiful song, and he proposed to her. He got down on one knee and proposed because it was her late father's favorite song. It became really popular under Soviet.
Yes, it's a way of resistance, using music to.
Yeah, and then at the wedding 2 weeks ago, there were members of the guests. Some of the guests there were in the choir during that when they got married, and they sang it again, and it was just incredible. I love that. Fantastic. Excellent. Okay, so there we go. So I
could see all the picture, everything you described. I'm a very visual person, so I live from the Empire State to Cuba and everything.
Yeah, it's just.
It looks very real to me.
Oh yeah, so there we are now. So you've had lunch with Marina Mahler and Isabella Rossellini, which is fantastic. We're nearly there. So you're going to travel. You've traveled around Cuba. You've been funded by this wealthy New York family foundation. Unusual that they would invest in Cuba, but there you go. Well, it's testament to the fact that this is important anywhere. And you're getting a book deal out of it. You've recorded some footage for a TV show. You've been booked to do a TED Talk when you get back. All we have to do is get you home now. So you're back on the plane. You turned left. Another glass of red wine. Another note from the Family Foundation. They are relinquishing you of your musical limitations. So you don't just have to listen to Bach now. So what would be the first piece of music you'd want to listen to that's not Bach or Baroque, that you hadn't heard for 12 months?
It might sound narcissistic, but it will be a piece of mine that has been neglected and never performed. I wrote a piece when I was 29. It was selected in the UK by the SPNM, the former Society for Promotion of New Music.
Yeah.
for the 60th reason, because it's not too small as a quartet and it's not orchestral, it's in between. It got never performed. I sent it to a harpsichordist called Elizabeth Choynachka, who lived in Paris. She was ready to do the premiere, but never happened. So it's dedicated to my mother, who taught me how to swim in the sea, coming back to the... It's called Dilemma Concertante. It's basically a concerto grosso between a piano and a harpsichord amplified. And it's a fight between two different discourses of music and two different temperaments and emotions. One inward and the other more like a childlike, interrupting the discourse. And at the end, there's an interchange of taking the good things of each other. And I would love that piece to be recorded and listened. And after maybe 30 years after this.
Well, let's see if we can get the community working to make that happen. Wouldn't that be fantastic? That would
That
be
would be
great.
fantastic. It's for
Yeah.
for 20 instruments, so a string quartet, piano, harpsichord, and then wind, brass, and woodwind, plus
Yeah.
percussion.
Well, I can do percussion. There we go. Excuse me. Excellent. Well, there you go.
Yeah, wow, that was
Sergio,
easy.
I
I
hope,
love it.
I hope you've enjoyed your fantasy cultural year. You're doing your TED talk. You've got the TV thing going on.
Yeah,
Another family foundation from somewhere else have got wind of what you're doing, and they want to hire you to do it in another country as well. So you've started this revolution of music, well-being through music. No language is required.
no,
people are
humming is international, exactly.
absolutely humming all over the world. So excellent. I'm going to play another quick game with you now. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah,
This is the this or that game. I'm going to give you two options and you have to tell me which one you prefer. Okay?
okay,
You have to choose one or the other.
yeah, yes, one or the other, yeah,
Ready?
yeah,
Are you ready? Right. Sparkling or still?
sparkling,
Mac or PC?
Mac,
Tea or coffee?
coffee,
Radio or television?
television,
Peas or Brussels sprouts?
Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Call them or text them?
call them
Window seat or aisle seat?
window,
Milk or dark chocolate?
dark chocolate,
Car or motorcycle?
car,
Boiled or fried egg?
fried,
Comedy or horror?
comedy,
Concert hall or sports stadium?
concert hall,
Cat or dog?
cat,
Test the water or jump in at the deep end?
jumping at the deep end,
Orange juice, bits or no bits?
bits. This is life, take it all.
An hour in a gallery or an hour in a museum?
An hour in a museum, I can get lost on time.
Beethoven or Mozart?
Beethoven.
Shower or bath?
Ah, it's a hard. I love cold bath, but a quick shower is good. So I will go for a bath because I'm missing it back home.
Cooking or being cooked for?
Cooking,
Sand or snow?
sand,
Shopping online or shopping in store?
in store,
Reggae or salsa?
reggae,
Indoors or outdoors?
outdoors, always.
Android or iPhone?
iPhone,
Start immediately or wait until the last minute?
is similar. Start immediately. I'm
Okay.
ready. Yes.
Science or history?
Science,
New York or Los Angeles?
New York.
Early riser or night owl? Early morning or late at night?
Lately, I'm an early owl. An early owl, no, an early bird.
Messy desk or tidy desk?
It's both. I have periods that everything's tidy, but I prefer tidy desk.
Okay. Red or white wine?
Right.
Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Numbers or words?
Words.
Rare or well done?
Well done.
Mild or spicy?
Spicy.
And finally, see the future or change the past?
See the future.
It's got the lottery numbers in it after all.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
What is the result?
Sergio, Sergio, thank you so much for doing this. I hope you enjoyed it. This
I,
will be
I enjoyed it.
a lovely way to introduce you to our members. Thank you again for being one of our full members, because that's how it works. We
Yes.
don't have any sponsors or funders or advertisers, so it's very much appreciated. So wherever this appears, there'll be links to you and the work that you're doing, and then we'll do an update in 6 or 9 months, and we'll put it on SoundCloud.
Excellent.
It'll go on our podcast as well and on YouTube. So
Great. I will
don't
send you the links actually for the work I do if people want it.
Yeah, absolutely. We can put those in. That's great. So for the time being, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been great. Have a good day.